like? Obviously, it's pretty unusual to miss on a shot after the siren, I guess, the team, and to go down by so much. What's been the feel amongst the group?
Yeah, well, we've still got our review to go this afternoon, so we're probably yet to see some of the mechanics of the game. But I think overall, I think we felt like we gave it a red hot crack. Both sides had a really good go. It was a really good contest, and it went down to the last second, which is speaks about both sides really. As I said, going to the last minute. So there was a great game of footy and enjoyed by all. Obviously disappointing that we couldn't quite get over the line, but there's always someone has to win, someone has to lose. So we'll go forward from that, no doubt, and we'll take a lot out of it. And we've got a really tough challenge this week in Hawthorn, so it doesn't get any easier.
When David was lining up for the shot, what was sort of going through your head at the time?
I was on the boundary, so I had a pretty good look behind it. But he's a beautiful kick of the football. I didn't think he'd have any trouble with the distance, but the breeze had been a bit tricky all night, so and I thought off the boot looked really good. So unfortunately, he just stayed a bit straight instead of maybe coming across a little bit more. But it's a great effort. So tired legs, 50 out. It's a great effort even to get distance.
Have the guys spoken to David? How does he feel after the game?
Oh, well, look, I'm sure we all got around him after the game. I'm sure he's a little bit disappointed, but in saying that, everyone is pretty realistic at the footy club, and that there's a lot of moments leading up to that point that can define the game, well before that happens. So I think we all understand that, and we've talked about it before. If you want to be in that position where you're kicking the goal that can be to win the game, and that might be the first kick of the game, because they're all relevant, start to finish.
There was a number of occasions where you played right into the hands of Harry Taylor and Geelong moving the ball forward out of the defensive 50. Do you learn anything about that? Because Hawthorn are a pretty good side at reading the ball as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, they really outsmarted us, with their defenders and their ability to, read the kicks coming in and intercept, and then we obviously struggled to get it off them a little bit, and Hawthorn are really similar in that model. So, look, there's a lot we can learn from that, and as I said, we have our reviews this afternoon, so we're yet to see probably. It's all a bit of a blur now until you actually get down and see the final mechanics of things, but we'll definitely learn a lot out of that. And as I said, if your effort's good, then you can learn. You can see the mechanics and work on them. If you don't have the effort, then nothing really comes to life at all.
It was something you were so good at last year with Jono missing some footy, etc. How do you think you've rebounded off the back up?
As in the defenders, or as in the same ilk as that, or?
Well, how do you think you've managed it this season compared to, because it was such a strength last year?
Yeah, well, I think we're still top two, defence in the comp at the moment. So, I think we've, as a defensive team, been pretty strong in that area. So, I like all weeks, I think, sometimes a little bit up and down, but I thought we've been really strong across the board as a whole team, and in responding to last year being a good defensive team as well.
Were you pleased with the way the pressure that they were put on in the last quarter as a team?
Yeah, no, we changed a few things, and it was a really positive way to obviously we had to throw the kitchen sink at them to get back in the contest, and it showed a lot of fight from the guys, and a lot of resilience to to obviously get the margin back and be that close. So they're a great side, so and full credit to them. But as I said, we didn't ever give up, and I think that's something that this group is well known for.
How's Luke McFarlane going? I think Ross said last night that he's probably going to miss a couple of weeks.
Yeah, as I said, I haven't actually spoken to Luke about severity of his injury, but I think he'll miss a couple, as Ross said, but should be back for some finals, which would be great.
Can you give us some thoughts on Max Duffy coming off the bench as a sub and his journey over the last couple of years, given all he's been through with injuries and things like that? Yeah,
well, I'm pretty keen to call him Max because there's only one Duff at the footy club, but but no, look, he's a great story. As I said, he's probably first year, like a lot of first year players are finding their way a little bit, and he's had significant challenges this year with a shoulder injury, but trained really hard, worked really hard, and his form in the waffle for Peel was really good, and he certainly came on and with great enthusiasm and was sharp out in the ground. So it was a good start, but they don't get any easier, and certainly pressure and scrutiny and the likes just goes up from here. So it's a great start. I thought Hayden Crozier was really good as well, and I thought both those two took steps forward as players at the footy club. But it gets harder. So, and they understand that, and they've just got to keep working hard and keep trying to improve.
Jared Ruffhead accepted his suspension today, so he'll miss. Jack Gunston's not going to be there either. How much easier does that make your task as defenders to try and shut down such a high-scoring team?
Not really any easier at all, because now we don't really know who might come in and play that. And Hawthorn have proved all year they've got fantastic depth, and players can come in and still play a fantastic role for the side, and they can still find a way to win, and that's why they're such a great side. So I guess it helps because they're extremely classy players, and from that point of view, but then there's that element of unpredictability that you don't know what's coming next. So but yeah, it's still not going to make the game any easier. It's going to be a really fierce contest, and I think both sides are going to put on a good show.
How important is this game coming Sunday for the context of the season in terms of top 4 finishes or anything like that? Is that starting to plant your mind as we get really close to the end?
It'd be remiss of me if I said that it doesn't sneak into the back of your mind a little bit, but the reality is we can only play the games that are ahead of us, and we just have to keep winning games of football, and everything from there will take care of itself as it goes. So, but as I said, we know we have to focus week to week, and that's really simple, and the scripts are really good at that, and that's what we have to do going forward, and we won't necessarily worry about too much else until that happens. But as I said, we just concentrate week to week and winning the game ahead of us.
And with an opposition like Hawthorn, is it a good chance to sort of measure where you guys are? Good result on the weekend despite the loss, but in terms of performance, it looked good. Is this another chance for you to see where you're at against a very strong position?
Well, I think it's been said by players at the group before, and Ross as well. But to be the best, you got to beat the best, and they're obviously on top of the ladder and equal top, and for a very good reason. So, as I said, it's going to be a great contest going forward, and and we're looking forward to that. And but we've talked about too. You can lose games of football and go forward as a group, and you can win games of football and go backwards as a group. And we lost on the weekend, but we thought we went forward a little bit with the way we've been playing. And the trick is getting everything right, getting all our preparation right this week to play a really good side, and leaving it all out there on the pitch. And as I said, win or lose, we aim just to go forward.
The Hawks have had the wood over you a bit in recent seasons. Is it important to get a win over them before September, just to know that you can beat them?
I certainly haven't beaten them too many times in my time, but I can remember beating them in a final here a few years ago. I think, as I said, we're if you're at the top end of the ladder, you said you've got to play those really good sides, and I don't think we think too much about the psyche of that. We just aim to play very, very well, and if we play very well, then we'll give ourselves every chance of winning the game.
Similar question, but you've only beaten one of the sides, Geelong at home, that are currently in the top 6 this year. Just for momentum and self-belief, do you need to get a scalp per se?
I don't really see it like that. I guess that's the statistical truth. But I thought we're just trying to improve our football week in, week out, and so far we haven't been good enough probably to beat those couple of sides above us, but I think we're really close to Sydney earlier on in the year, and if we improved on a few things, that could have been a different result, and obviously the weekend was really close, and I know Hawthorn obviously stitched us up early in the year, and so we've got a great opportunity to try and rebound from that. As I said, it's going to be a great contest one way or the other, and we're looking forward to that, and on our home deck in front of supporters will be fantastic.
How do you quell the efficiency of their ball use? It seems their biggest strength, and the thing that's probably worked their way through your defence at times in the last sort of 4 starts. How do you quell that influence of their elite kickers?
Yeah, well, they work their way through just about everyone's defence using that method. Look, I think you've got to make sure you put really good pressure on around the ball, and you have to work really, really hard as a group because, as I said, they're a very skillful group, and lots of left footers which go a little bit different to the rest of the teams, I guess, which could be an advantage. But look, that's the way they play, the way they train, and they obviously execute that really well. So, look, it's just about doing what we do best, putting a lot of pressure on and turning it over, and then using the ball really well ourselves.
Who have you typically manned in the past against the Hawks?
I think I've played on Gunston and Rioli a bit, so so those two aren't there. No, but I think whether it's Gunston, Rioli, Bruce, Roughhead, or as I said, they've just got such great depth with their forwards, and they're a very talented group, and so as I said, it doesn't really matter who they bring in. They'll be really tough to handle.
Just on someone like Bruce, how do you handle him? What's his specific strengths that's made him such a dangerous player this year?
Yeah, well, he's deceptively quick, and he reads the game really well. I think that's one of the things. He's surprisingly quick when you actually get him play on him, but he's really strong through his hips, and he's very hard to budge off the line of the ball for a smaller player. So he does that exceptionally well, and he finishes really well. So he works really hard. So that's, I said, the good players do that really well. They're strong over the ball and they work really hard.